let's go to SmackDown.
Let's go back to the plug. Let's go back to the plug.
Oh, yeah. Oh, go back. It's like, oh, I tell you, last week, this guy broke into my wife's apartment. She yelled rape. He yelled no. Anyway, let's go back to SmackDown while we have to. Because it's setting up, obviously, the big Fastlane pay-per-view. And at least it's only 2 hours. It's not like Raw. But the opening segment, I was kind of proud of them. Because they did a lot of what we've been talking about. LA Knight comes out, get the big reaction and the big chant, and let me talk to you. And as soon as that happens, Heyman interrupts, ladies and gentlemen. And out he comes with Uso and Solo, Oprah, Uma. And then he says, he puts LA Knight over in his smarmy way as he does. And butters him up, but now that LA Knight has the Bloodline's attention, you just know we're going to have to do something about that. And LA Knight kind of fired back at Paulie's jowls a little bit, but then Uso just jumps in. He's making all the decisions. He's like, you ain't making it to Fastlane. And here come the heels to menace LA Knight around the ring, which is the perfect time to play some John Cena music. And at least, have you noticed when they play the music because they have to, because it's John Cena, he still doesn't come out and pose and scratch his ass and do his whole entrance because there's a guy in trouble. He gets right to the ring. And when he gets in the ring and they dare the heels to come in, then Paulie calls them back. And LA Knight is trying to goad Jimmy Uso into a match for tonight. And Paul's saying, no, no, no. And so, of course, Jimmy says, yeah, I'll do it. And Paul freaks out about that. And they got that done in 8 or 9 minutes. They started with a recap package of the issues, so we knew where we stood. And did that live bit. And we were still only like 11, 12 minutes into the show. That wasn't bad. We got all the fucking stars out there. We set up the main event. We let everybody see everybody. And we got the fuck out of there without doing a goddamn soliloquy.
What do you think of Heyman's look?
Oh, let's save it for the pay-per-view. Save it for the pay-per-view, because there was an opening there. But what'd you think of the way they set this situation up?
I like the way if they really are going to go with LA Knight, it looks like they are. I like the way they've used him with Cena. Cena is the bigger star, but they haven't used him so that he has to flex that he's the biggest star, and he hasn't acted like he has to flex that either.
LA Knight has not become the little buddy or the best friend. He's That's a guy he's a star helping the big star.
It's the big star from the past needing the big star of now, or one of the big stars of now, to help him, as opposed to, like you said, a little buddy.
My famous line about Horner, if this was a movie, you'd be the best friend. This is not the case. But then I praised them for their brevity. And then we got Charlotte and Oscar against Bayley and Io. And by the time that thing was over with, we were 35 minutes into the show. And again, I love Charlotte. She's a superstar. But I was running low on time. What were your random thoughts?
My random thoughts are, no disrespect to anyone involved, but there's only so much wrestling that we can watch in a week, and there's certain things that aren't going to interest me, and
that was one of them.
And that was one of them, and I had a feeling it was going to go a while, and it was going to have a lot of commercial. So even if you want to like it, the commercial breaks are going to kill it, and that's what happened.
Well, Roman Reigns returns next week on SmackDown on Fox, I'll have you know. And a lot of people are wondering what he's going to be saying about a lot of things. So again, the star power is continuing. And now they're talking about Cena's already, made the statement that when the strike is over, he's got to get back to a production. He won't be able to wrestle anymore because of insurance, and you can't do both. And, and I don't blame him. But they got Roman Reigns coming back into the pipeline, and they've got access to other names that people recognize, and Pat McAfee or Logan Paul that are not even going to consider being involved in AEW.
They're starting to give the rub to guys like Braun Breaker with Heyman going down there for that.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is starting to look like the fucking glory days of the Chicago Bears against the fucking Bad News Bears. But anyway.
The idea of the writer's strike, though, that also changes any ideas anyone would have with The Rock.
Well, but we didn't imagine Rock was going to be bopping back and forth. You know, he's still got other things going on. And I would imagine that, again, if they're going to do something for WrestleMania, that's probably already been said. If it ain't said, it's about to be set, because they have to plan that kind of shit that far ahead. So they could be tickling our taint about this whole thing now and know exactly what's going on. But it's not like you're going to call, and they understand that, you're going to call Dwayne Johnson and say, hey, can you be at TV in 2 weeks? The fuck, he schedules his shits. But they got a lot of stars. More stars than there are in the heavens, as they say. Okay, so speaking of stars, the two top heel groups, the Judgment Day and the Bloodline, Judgment Day have, backwards. Bloodline have wandered into their locker room and found the Judgment Day sitting there. And now they're having a face-off. And Rhea, who's the boss of the group, tells everybody to get out so she and Paul can chat. And they all leave, but, you know, you can see they milk Priest and Solo last, and Priest leaves when Rhea asks him to, and then Paul does same with Solo. And then Rhea looks at him and says, let's talk. And then they go back to the desk where the announcers are saying, boy, we wish we could be a fly on the wall for that conversation. Well, there's an HD video camera in the fucking room. Tell the director, take the goddamn shot. You wouldn't have to be a fly. You could watch it on your monitor.
Yeah, they don't seem to mind him. He's been standing there the whole time.
Yes. He's the only one who wasn't told to leave for the private meeting. Was the national television camera instead of the people being talked about.
If any of this ever ends in a lawsuit, he's the one guy that's going to be deposed because he saw everything. He was in the room for everything.
Yeah. We need to subpoena that footage. But that, all right. But anyway, so then the feature match pretty much of the most of this program before the main event was Bobby Lashley against Rey Mysterio. And Profits and the LWO in the corners. And if there was ever a visual that stretched credulity, I know Rey is an icon and a Hall of Famer, but oh boy. And of course, Lashley dominates with his physicality, and Rey opens up with speed and agility, and same formula as the match. They do, not they specifically, but the WWE does. 2 minutes to the break, come back, replay. They come back on a bear hug where they're immobile in the ring, and then replay Lashley nearly breaking Rey in half on the ring post during the break. But anyway, so then they pretty much work a 2-minute bear hug, but what can Lashley do over and over to Rey without it being ridiculous that this giant's not killing him? So then they do the boom, boom, boom. Rey makes his comeback, and Lashley catches him and knocks him to the floor and then throws him back in the ring and just dumps Escobar over the railing. And as Escobar's out of the picture, they do a little back and forth going for the 619, and the Profits and LWO get in a big fight, and Rey dives on top of the Profits, and then Lashley spears Rey 1, 2, 3. It was a really good, exciting finish the last couple of minutes, but the camera missed the LWO guy taking a fucking giant German suplex on the floor. But they replayed it at the end. But nevertheless, except for the last 2 minutes, which was really up. This was kind of
Yeah, I can't add too much to that. You've had a collection of sounds today, and I think that fits this segment.
Yes. But the LWO was left down, and the two younger stooges were pretty much wiped out, which plays into the pay-per-view the next day. So then Rhea and Paulie are still in the back, and the pitch that Rhea is making to Paul is that the Judgment Day and the Bloodline are stronger together. And Paul's, I like it. It's really good. I'll make a call and get the okay. And Rhea said, it's authorized. And Paul said, well, the tribal chief is the only one that can give the okay to something like this. And Rhea says to Paul, acknowledge me. I'm authorizing it. And Paul doesn't like that. And that's when Rhea says, well, you'll acknowledge me or you'll find out which group is stronger. So make your little phone call. And she walks off and he calls Roman Reigns. So now are they going to be together or are they going to fight? We don't know. But again, I'm loving Rhea Ripley as a goddamn movie star. She is the Marilyn Monroe of the generation, I'm telling you.
It is intriguing, too, the idea of Judgment Day versus Bloodline, even though what's the Bloodline at this point? There's only, I guess, 2 members and a third maybe member and Paul.
Well, but something's going to happen sooner or later.
It's 3 guys and Paul Heyman. I mean, what are they going to do?
3 guys and Paul. Anyway, Austin Theory. Apparently he's got heat with the office. Jesus Christ. It was Theory versus Dragon Lee. And I said, as much as I love Theory, again, I'm running low on time. And Theory cut a promo before the bell, which I listened to because he's great. He put himself over it. He shit on Dragon Lee, and he had really good delivery. And then I figured I'd zip to the finish and see how Theory wins. And suddenly Grimes was there posting Grayson Waller, and Dragon Lee rolled up Theory and beat him 1, 2, 3. They have to put stumbling blocks in people's path, don't they? Unforced errors is what they call them.
I can't say that Theory has... I mean, again, the booking's a large part of it, but there's nothing that he's done in the last 6 months since WrestleMania, whatever, that really has elevated him further. You keep waiting for it. I'm not going to go crazy over this. I like Dragon Lee. If they're going to do something with Dragon Lee that includes Cameron Grimes somehow getting a push. Waller's the only one in here I'm not a big fan of, actually.
It's not that I don't like Grimes, but Dragon Lee ain't going to be a fucking main event guy. I'm sorry.
Right. Not everyone needs to be a main event guy.
Okay, well, Theory's going to be. And Grimes isn't going to be because they're not going to use him that way because of his size and physique. So the point is, I don't mind Theory doing jobs, but why is he, and the Waller thing is not going to fucking work. And so they've teamed Theory up with Waller. They've got him interacting with Grimes and doing jobs to Dragon Lee. I'm saying I don't like the cast of characters that he's immersed in. If he's going to get beat, at least somebody that's somebody. Or can he stand out beside any other way than his work, which is still great, in my opinion, if he's being used with middle card fucking guys?
Right now, he's a middle card guy. He's not, well, that's like I said, he's not broken out. And Dragon Lee is someone new to the roster. They're obviously trying to get him over a little bit. They're using Theory right now for whatever that's worth to get him over a little bit. And we'll see where they go with this. But I don't think it's going to hurt Theory right now, just because I think he's in that weird spot of something has to happen, but there's enough not happening right now that he's just there.
Well, you say Theory hadn't broken out, but the thing is they've got him in maximum security, and they've taken away the fucking bed sheets he was making the rope out of. So he's trying to break out, but it's more difficult there at the Supermax than it is over in Mayberry at the county jail. But now it's time for our main event of the evening, LA Knight and Jimmy Uso. And I've got to, again, I love LA Knight's work. They had nice pace, nice wrestling spots. They kept it moving. The work was pretty solid. I'll save talking about a habit that both the Usos have developed on the pay-per-view review. But Uso gets the break, and then they come, or gets the break. Uso gets the heat for the break, and then they come back, and LA Knight's fighting back, makes his comeback. LA elbow, here comes Solo. DQ, boom. They start a second of heat. Here comes Cena, and he tosses Solo out. And then Judgment Day music. And then here they all come out. And I think JD's there with them. And Paul and Rhea stare at each other, and then they shake hands. And Paul says, it's authorized. So they're together. Or at least, on the same side against other people. And then all the heels get up on the apron to menace Cena and LA Knight. And the Uso music plays, and it's Jay. Well, now, a minute ago, the announcers were saying, oh, these 8 heels against these 2 baby faces. These guys are fucked. And suddenly one more guy comes out, and the heels all pause. But then Cody music plays. And now it's only 4 against 8. And Cody hits the ring. The fans are singing his song because it got cut off early because he ran in on the run-in. And then the fight starts, and boom, 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 and the baby faces prevail and hit all their moves on JD McFunco, and I think Cena hit 2 of them. And that's the way we went off the air to go to. So they took the opposite approach that Bill Watts used to before the big show. He wants to get some heat. Before the big pay-per-view, they just kicked the shit out of all the heels that when the baby faces were outnumbered 2-1. Interesting approach.
Keep the baby faces strong. The heels are indecisive, I guess you could only say. It made sense for Jimmy Uso to come off the apron when Jay came out because there's still that weird, they're brothers and they're, they still talk about each other, but they also hate each other, and we'll see what happens. But it was a good ending going into the pay-per-view, I think.
Well, there was a lot of action, but
we had 4 baby faces in there that were really, listen to the crowd react. LA Knight's getting ridiculous reactions.
Yeah.
They were chanting Cody's name. Cody was getting a big reaction.
Yeah.
They love Jey Uso, and Cena, every time he comes out there, they go nuts. It says something nowadays. You don't usually see 4 guys that over in the ring at one time as baby faces.
That's because there's usually not 4 guys over that way as baby faces at the same time. Or hasn't been in about 25 years. So basically, all of those things together set up the big Fastlane pay-per-view. And Brian, that's the thing, is that you got to sell these things. It's no matter how good the product is or how quality it is, you got to sell the thing. You got to have a platform like they've got the big TV network. You got to have a platform. You got to have a store. You got to have a method, a way to do these things. And that's what our friends at Shopify give you. As a matter of fact, you've put the kids to work, haven't you? They're doing crafts in the basement now to earn extra money. And I understand you got them a Shopify account set up and everything so they can market this stuff around the world.
I don't know why this is the example you would choose. No, the kids do their own crafts and stuff. I do not use them to produce anything. I actually have lots of other things I could sell on Shopify. Lots of great wrestling stuff.
Well, see, now what you ought to do is you ought to get busy. You ought to get busy now and get everybody notified that Shopify is the #1 online platform, the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage? And then it's followed by there's a guy from the IRS at the front door stage. But nevertheless, Shopify is there to help you all the way from start to prison. Whether you're auctioning autographed apparel or selling sleek skis, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. You know what that means, don't you, Brian? That doesn't mean just here in the United States. That means here, Guatemala, Bolivia, the Arctic Circle, anywhere there's somebody that wants to buy your product, Shopify will sell it. And they've got that in-person POS system. We've talked about that many times. They can tell in person up close whether a person is a piece of shit or not and reject their business. But Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout, which has been noted to be up to 36% better compared to the other leading commerce platforms that have converting checkouts. So they got that going for them. But anyway, did you know, Brian? I'll have you know, this is a fact that you should be aware of. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the United States. So if they decided to, they could wreak havoc on the global economy. And Shopify's extensive help resources are there to support your success every step of the way. You call them up and you say, hey, I got this problem or I got that problem. They'll tell you to have a few drinks and go to bed. So right now, if you'd like to have Shopify selling your stuff, whether you want to put your kids to work in the basement or put your wife to work in the parlor or whatever room of the house, make extra money, grow your own business, become a successful big business typhoon, an entrepreneur. Right now, go to Shopify.com/JCE. Shopify.com/JCE right now to grow your business into a giant, erect, throbbing concern instead of a flaccid, soft, money-losing enterprise. No matter what stage of the game you're in, Shopify.com/JCE and sign up for a $1 a month trial period. For heaven's sake, at Shopify.com/JCE, and that slash of JCE, by the way, as we've mentioned before, all lowercase. I don't know what the fuck that has to do with anything, but Shopify.com/JCE, all lowercase, to grow your business now from a little acorn to a mighty oak tree. Well, Brian, before we move into the fast lane and pass all this traffic, what are you doing over at the Arcadian Vanguard Network this fine week?
Well, you could stay in the left lane on the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network. Get information about all the shows on Twitter at Superpodcast or on Facebook, facebook.com/Arcadian Vanguard. Of course, the wrestling news each and every day. Get the wrestling news direct to you. Get it from thewrestlingnews.com or subscribe wherever you find your favorite podcast for your free daily wrestling newscast every morning, with a lot more to come. Stay tuned to the Wrestling News. Once again, thewrestlingnews.com.
What's the name of that program?
The Wrestling News. Arcadian Vanguard's The Wrestling News.
And what does it give you?
It gives you the wrestling news. Any other questions, sir?
No, I'm fine.
I believe you're still on the staff of the Wrestling News, technically, contractually.
Yes.
All right, well.
I'm trying to make news.
Well, speaking of news, someone who always makes news or writes about news is this week's guest on Shut Up and Wrestle with Brian Solomon. His guest is Tim Hornbaker, the author of the new Ric Flair biography.
God, it's not Horner. Thank God it's not Horner.
I guess you'd think I was going there. Tim Hornbaker, not Tim Horner. Tim Horner hasn't written any books that I know of.
Yeah, he's never even read one.
He maybe doctored the books. I really don't know. But get Tim Hornbaker's... Well, get his book, but hear him interviewed with Brian Solomon on Shut Up and Wrestle with Brian Solomon, SUAWpod.com. Look for it wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And, of course, the 605 Super Podcast, The Mothership!
Oh, quit.
Go through the archive today, 605pod.com, available wherever you find your favorite podcasts. The Mothership.